Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I'm Shireen Bhan. We're going to start the show with news from Hyundai, which is all set to relaunch the Elantra in the D segment. Now, this version is the new fluidic avatar of the Elantra, which essentially means that it's an attractively styled package, hopefully different from the previous one. Bert takes it for a first drive report in Udaipur to tell you what you can expect from the new Elantra.
If there was one car in the entire Hyundai portfolio that didn't do well, it was the Elantra. I mean, just look around you today. How many Elantras do you see on the roads? You'll still see a lot of Corollas and Octavias from that generation when they competed against the Elantra. Except for the Elantra, it has just disappeared. Now, this was despite the fact that the Elantra, well, it was a very good value for money car. And of course, it had a lot of features. But still, people didn't find the drivetrain very appealing. And then there was that styling. The masses just couldn't digest that. Neither could we. How things have changed. That is the new Elantra. It's a stunner of a car. In fact, it may be the best looking car in the entire C segment today. The biggest hurdle the last generation Elantra had to overcome was its face. It was classic Hyundai trying too hard to seek inspiration from several places. Now there is a focused effort that prioritizes design. There is a new language that Hyundai speaks globally. And it is a lovely language. It is vibrant like Italian, comforting and delectable like French. It also commands attention like German and also has that bit of flair like Australian. That said, while it is an attractive, arresting design that will demand a lot of eyeballs stay riveted, it is also a slight bit uncomfortably similar to the Verna. Closer inspection will reveal that the headlamps and tail lamps are quite different and that the lines on the side profile follow different paths. It's the front face, especially the bumper and grille, that breeds such strong familiarity. The interiors, they are fancy. All this design work, the styling, the clocks, the center console, the entire transmission tunnel, the steering, the door pads. I mean, this is an entirely funky, an entirely futuristic design. It's a bit out of a Ridley Scott film, Prometheus for the layman on the streets. But, well, I like it. It's funky, it's fun. I think it's very interesting. And let's not forget that this is such a feature-rich car. It always was. Even the last generation Elantra had a lot of goodies to offer, and that continues in the new Elantra. You've got cruise control, you've got audio control, and they're all stacked on your steering wheel. You've got this transmission tunnel with a multi-CD changer which plays MP3s, as well as it's got auxiliary inputs and USB and your iPhone. You've got this climate control, which is just fantastic because not only does it cool individual zones, like the driver and the passenger can have different settings, but you also got a function to cool your seats, and that is so incredible for a hot country like India. Hyundai will offer the Elantra with a choice of two engines. There's going to be one diesel and there's going to be a petrol. Now the diesel engine, well, this new car has got a smaller diesel engine. It's got a 1.6 litre common rail diesel injection turbocharged diesel compared to the 2 litre engine that was there in the previous generation Elantra. But this engine has been tuned to make more power, more torque. So overall, it will be a lot more efficient. We also expect it to be a slightly better performer. The petrol, on the other hand, well, it's the same 1.8 litre petrol engine, but it's got dual variable valve timing. It makes about the same amount of power and torque as before, but it's a lot more efficient, it's a lot more refined, and well, we're expecting better performance from that too. The one aspect about the diesel engine that I did not like is that because it's such a small displacement engine, it's a lot noisier. There's a lot more diesel clatter, and that's quite audible inside this cabin. Hyundai has two transmissions to offer on the Elantra, a 6-speed manual and a 6-speed automatic. The 6-speed manual is an effortless and slick transmission. The shift quality is precise and you really won't find anything to complain about that box. The automatic, on the other hand, has got the same 6 ratios as the manual, but in operation it feels like a CVT. It's just noisy and whiny all the way up to its shift point, which is at about 4,400 RPM. This is a very comfortable car. This is a very comfortable cabin to be in, to drive. I'm 5'9.5" in the driver's seat, and I bet you there's enough space for someone who's 6 feet tall to sit right behind me and still have enough knee room and leg room to stretch out comfortably. This car has also got fantastic ride quality. The suspension is nicely tweaked for Indian conditions, so even in the worst of roads here in Rajasthan, this car completely irons out all those defects. You just don't feel a thing inside this cabin. It's also a very stable car to drive on the highway. It's well planted, it is dynamic. There's a bit of feedback from the steering. I wish there was a lot more, but it nicely weighs itself out in speed. And that makes driving this car fairly comfortable, at least more comfortable than the Verna and the i20. So how is the new Elantra better than the older one? For one, you get a lot more features. Second, you get a lot more space and creature comforts within this car. Third, it's definitely got a better drivetrain. It's got a better transmission, better ride quality, and the dynamics feel a lot more agile, a lot more stable, safer, and a lot nicer. So overall, yes, the new Elantra is much superior compared to the last generation. So what do I think of the new Elantra? Well, I'm highly impressed by this car. The new Elantra has clearly ironed out all the grey areas that were present in the last generation car. Not only that, it has moved the game to a whole new level. But then there's that matter of pricing. Hyundai have to get the right sticker on this car, and that sticker has to read VFM, value for money. That is the last bit to complete this car.